Welcome to Auction version 4, the event management software tool from Auction Systems. In this tutorial, I will show you how to define settings for the entire project. In project settings, you have the ability to add an online or mobile bidding event to your project if your license supports premium features. You can upload project or event images that can be reproduced on documents, and you can set default fonts for reports and documents. To change or add project settings, from the main Home task ribbon, choose Settings. On the Settings ribbon, choose Project Settings. Here are the project setting panels with the panels closed. The project setting panels are for event definitions and winning bidder selection mode, project images, default document font, and report fonts. To change any setting, click on the panel to open. Here is the Open Event Definition panel. At the top of the panel, if you have a license that includes premium features, you can add an online auction or mobile bidding event to your project. When the project was created, either by making a new blank project or by copying some data from a previous project, an event title, date, and time for the event was saved. If any of these were wrong, you can change it here. If the project was saved with the wrong type of event and the wrong event terminology or language, that can be changed here too. If your event has an auction, the event type should always be auction, and the language should also be auction. If the event is a golf tournament, the type should be event, and the language should be tournament. If the event is a banquet that does not include an auction at all, the type should be event, and the language should be banquet. Picking event rather than auction for the event type will disable some features and change the names of some fields in the project. So, if your project is for an auction, always use auction. If you're doing data entry for reservations only, but that information will be merged into a colleague's auction item data, you still must choose auction as the event type and auction as the language, so the merge can happen. Lastly, the default when entering winning bids in event night is to enter winning bids by bid number. But if you're not assigning bid numbers to your guests, you can change the default to enter winning bids by the bidder's name. This is the project image panel. In this panel, you will see on the right any images that are currently saved in your project. To the left of the image, starting at the far left, you will see the name of the image file, and the file is usually a JPEG or a PNG. Images saved as PDF cannot be uploaded to auction as an image. The next section is the location the original file was uploaded from. If this first letter is not a C, then most likely the image file was not on your computer. It could have been uploaded from another computer, a server, or a memory device like a USB flash drive. Next, we have the date and time the image was uploaded, and then 5 size fields. The first 2 of these fields are for the size of the image in pixels, for width and height, followed by how big the image can be reproduced on documents or reports in auction in best quality, better quality, and good quality. The pixels numbers and the max size good quality are very important, and if you notice, they are closely related. An image that is 500 pixels in width and 160 pixels in height can be reproduced up to 5 inches wide by 1.6 inches high on paper in good quality, which is very satisfactory for printing on paper. If the max size in good quality is any bigger than what you need, the image may take up more memory than you have available in your printer buffer. If an image is so high in resolution that it needs a lot of memory to reproduce, and your print buffer does not have that much memory, attempting to print documents with that image will not only crash auction, but it will also crash Windows, and your computer will shut down or lock up completely. For help with resizing an image, please see our video in the Tips and Tricks series. To upload an image to the project, if you have copied the image using the File Explorer, click Paste and it will be added to the list, or you can browse to the file location and click the image file to select it and add it to the list. You may clear an image if it's no longer needed or is too big. You will not be able to clear an image if it is being used in a saved custom document or report. If you attempt to clear the image and it is being used, clicking this button will pop up a warning of where the image is currently being used. You can go to the document or report to remove the image, and then you'll be able to clear. If an image is being used in a saved document or report, if the image is too big, you can resize the image and replace it. Resize the image outside of auction and then replace the original with the newly sized image by selecting the old image in the list below and then clicking this replacement paste if you've copied the new image, or this replacement browse if you need to browse to the location of the replacement image. If the original image is not available on your computer and you need to resize it, or you need to send to someone else, or you need to use it outside of Auction, you can save the image from Auction to a folder on your computer by selecting the image in the list and then clicking this Save to Folder button. You will be directed to a window screen where you can rename the image and choose the save location. In the default document font, you can save the font you would like to be the default font for documents such as bid sheets, name tags, the catalog, etc. You may override the default in individual documents on a case-by-case basis. Use caution when using a very unusual font. Fonts are only available if the font is stored on the computer itself. You may install an unusual font for an event on your computer, but your computer may not be the computer used at the actual event. Your project can be moved to another computer or server, and a different computer will be accessing the project at the event. If the new computer does not have that font installed, it will not be able to print documents using that unusual font. Auction may give an error, or it will pick a generic font like Arial, which may not be to your liking. The list of available fonts on your computer can be seen and chosen from the pull-down. This is the Report Font panel. The default font for reports is very plain. You can change it if you want, but we suggest even when your document font is very fancy, you should pick a plain, easy-to-read font for your reports. To change the default report font and size, click Change. What the defaults are currently set as will always appear to the right. You always have the option of using a different font for a specific report on a case-by-case basis. Headers on reports are always bold and usually a little larger in size than the regular type. You set how much larger the header will be here. As an example, if the default font for a normal print on a report is 10 and you set the header size increment as 2, the header size will be 12 on the actual report. In an individual report, override the default font size to make it larger or smaller. The header size will always be larger than the regular type size by whatever increment you set here, but of course you have the option to override that too in the individual report. You may want to use a large type for some reports, especially if they will be needed at the event where there may be low light. This number sets how much larger the large font will be than the regular default font size. The headers on a large font report will be bold and larger still than the large report font by this same increment. When needed, you can always override these defaults on an individual report on a case-by-case basis. Thank you for joining us.